Since almost 100 years ago, China has a hurry to learn all the culture and all the art and the civilization from the Western. So after 1949, there a period China sent a lot of students to the Soviet Union to learn the oil painting. But before that, almost 1930, China have a first generation abroad to European, but no one to Spain then. But they stay in Paris and some in Belgium to learn the great tradition from European. After 60, China have a lot of problem, so they stopped to send a student to outside, and also bring up with the Soviet Union. So until 1978, almost 80, China have opened the door, have a more flexible policy. So since then, the third generation try to abroad to everywhere, America, European, English, Russia, and maybe Spain, come to learn art. Economic situation is better now, China. So the people, general people, family, young people, they can spend their own money to traveling everywhere. So in the future, I guess that the more Chinese people will into Prado to see the great Spanish tradition. For this group, we have almost three generation. Like me, almost 60, then around 40, then just over 20 years old. So past last 30 years, learning from the great tradition of Western painting, especially for European. But all the Chinese oil painter who still paint the tradition style and the figure painter, they have a few heroes. Of course, Renaissance, then to Baroque, always adore the three people, the Rembrandt, the Rubens, and the Velázquez. And Velázquez almost is highest sample to all of us. I don't know why, that since then. Since I was kids, maybe 12 or 14, I just saw the black and white prints about Velázquez's painting, very small size on a book. It's just crazy about that. Yeah. Later, I tried to find his color prints in the Cultural Revolution, and even I copied that in the 70s in the countryside. I never can dream one day I can really come to Spain and face to his the original and a copy.
感觉太奇妙了，就是他能把一个像一个人物的肖像画到一个在艺术上奇妙无比的感觉。因为我学画已经几十年，特别崇拜维拉斯贵兹。那么这次在原作面前临摹他的像呢，感觉到印刷品和我们想象的都无法到达所以这个奇妙无比。
Between teenage to the like 25 years old until Cultural Revolution was over, I went to the Central Academy of Fine Arts. But still, when I spent like 18 years in New York, I still again come to Metropolitan Museum standing in his work. Not that much, maybe not even 10 pieces. Yeah. But once I remember, it's 1990 or 1991, the great retrospective show to Velázquez come to New York. Yeah. So I've been there several times, standing at every piece, and just like dream, like drunk, that I don't know who I am, why I stay there, but I don't want to go until the museum closed. Yeah.
应该说意义太大了，因为中国的油画啊，包括我们这一代人已经100年5代人的积累。那么到我这一代人呢，其实是在国内学的油画。中国呢，看到原作的机会，只能是我们出国去看，也是开放以后。那么学到现在，我们能够对着大师的原作临摹呢，才能够真正的品味到，就是维拉斯开吉他在艺术上达到的那个最精妙的那个程度啊。比如说像我们吃这个要形容的话，比如说我们吃一道菜啊，只有我们吃下去以后，我们才知道那个菜的味道啊，真正的味道。
一定是非常大的帮助。因为艺术是不需要语言的，它是跨国界的。我现在在这儿临摹，就相当于大师直接在教我。并且呢是不需要翻译的。虽然我们语言不通，但是他用无声的语言，然后教我怎样画。但是这个学习，很遗憾，就是我不能够天天在这里，所以就是要不断的来这儿。
I think it's a simplicity and gorgeous. I can't find the exactly words because his work is so isolated in the history. Actually, in the Baroque, Rembrandt's not like him. Rubens is not like him. He is kind of avant-garde artist just by himself. It's very lonely to develop some philosophy. It's a painter as he was seeing, by such a simplicity way and delicate, technical. But people forgot at that time, no photo, no movie, no any modern media. The painting is the only thing can realize, what is the reality and what is people seeing. So I think no one compare with him. So that's why Velázquez passed so many years, a few hundred years, still today can touch us.
这个可能很难理解的就是，作为一个中国的油画家，因为他很少能够见到原作，他们的渴望程度和他对油画原作的神秘面纱他能够通过这一次，我觉得能够揭开，特别是有一些青年艺术家，他们非常难得的就头一次。